Dr. Braden, will you tell us something about yourself?
So I'm a PhD in molecular immunology with about 15 years experience in research and science. But more importantly, I'm a mother of two beautiful girls, a 4-year-old and a 20-month-old. And as a mother and a scientist, I feel as though I have something really important that other parents need to hear.
So Dr. Braden, what do you think about the vaccines that have been approved for 5 or 11-year-olds?
Right, well, I think it's really important that first everybody be aware that there is no approved vaccine for the treatment of COVID-19 in North America or abroad. In fact, they're only under use by the interim use approval process in Canada, which is the same as the emergency use authorization in the US. So in fact, no vaccine has been approved. Furthermore, it's important to note that although the vaccines have been conditionally approved, they haven't been properly tested by clinical trials to determine long-term safety and efficacy, which is very concerning when they're talking about releasing these vaccines for the usage in children.
So what do you think needs to happen? We have the proposal for a 6-month moratorium to study this kid's vaccine. Do you feel that's the right call?
I do feel that's the right call. This past weekend, Standing for Students, the Freedom Forum, and Take Back Your Freedoms, PEI, demanded a 6-month moratorium from the government because we don't know the safety of these vaccines. In fact, there's been no scientific due diligence or open debate on any of the measures involved in the last 2 years, from masking to hand sanitizer to social distancing to locking us up in our homes to preventing us from leaving this island. There has been not one single debate. And that's part of why we are asking for this moratorium. Because until there's scientific due diligence and due process with scientists, the science, and not just what the chief medical health officer says is happening, then we should not proceed with implementation of any experimental vaccines in children.
How important is the decision that parents will face over the next few weeks to vaccinate their children?
Well, I can speak as a mother. This would be one of the most important decisions, I think. We're being asked to unquestionably trust the government. When we're looking at food for our kids, when we're looking at medicines for our children, we read the back of those boxes exhaustively. We make sure that every single thing that goes into our kids' bodies is proven safe. And what we know right now is that we don't know that this is safe. And as far as I'm concerned, that's enough as a mother to put a complete stop on this vaccine for my children.
Many parents will say they're not informed enough to make a decision about the kid's vaccine. What's your response to that?
It's simple, really. Just wait. There's no need to make a rushed decision, especially one that can't be undone. You can't unvaccinate your child once they've been vaccinated. And as far as I'm concerned, there's not enough data to support vaccinating children. But I could see how there'd be a rush. I could see how parents would feel pressured. We are being inundated by the media every day. There is this message of fear. And so parents want to protect their children. But what they need to understand is they can get a second opinion by looking at other doctors, looking at what's happening across the world in other jurisdictions, and simply to say children are not at risk at COVID. There's no need to rush your child to get vaccinated.
If you had the opportunity to sit down with every Prince Edward Island parent tonight, what would you say to them?
I would explain to those parents that their children are not at risk from COVID-19. I would also point out that there's no scientific safety data on the vaccine or information on any long-term potential effects, such as cancer or infertility risks. And then I would ask them, as islanders, as mothers, as fathers, are you willing to let Big Pharma experiment on your children?